Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me for the first Heal Now live and interactive. Today we've got Barbara Rempel here as our guest. But before we get started, we're going to do a brief intention setting because it is for the day that we're recording it. It is the full moon, the flower full moon in Sagittarius. We're going the end of May, and it's a great time to set that intention because this is all about healing, and that's the focus that we want to do. So we're going to focus on a healing intention today. So everybody that's watching this, we're going to take a moment and we're going to phrase in our mind an I am grateful phrase. So it can be very simple. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for my body. I am grateful to be healed. Something simple like that around healing. So picking it out, deciding what your I am grateful statement is, nothing too complicated. And we're going to focus on it being about health. So once you've got that, if you need to pause the video, you can of course pause the video because this will be recorded and put up. But if you've got it, let's get started. So what I would like everybody to do, you can take a deep breath in, you can close your eyes if you would like. And we're going to start to focus right at our heart center. This is our gratitude center. Gratefulness is one of the strongest vibrations that we can create. And gratitude is very, very important, especially as we're going through this time. So we're going to close our eyes. We're going to start to focus on our heart center. And this chakra, the color associated with our heart center is the emerald green color. So as we come and drop ourselves here into our heart center, maybe we start to visualize a beautiful green energy right here in our heart center. And as we take that deep breath in, we start to see that energy completely surrounding us, maybe like a beautiful green ribbon surrounding us with this love energy. And as we're being surrounded by this beautiful heart-centered energy, let's see our I am grateful statement come across our mind's eye. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for my healing. And we're going to see it come across 3 times. I am grateful. I am grateful. And as we see it this 3rd time, I am grateful. We're going to let those words gently dissipate off to the right side. And as it dissipates, we see that those words start to transmute into a beautiful golden energy. And as that energy starts to drop off to the right side of our mind's eye, it turns into a beautiful golden gift. This is our I am grateful gift that we are giving ourselves today. And in our mind's eye, we imagine picking it up and placing it right here in our heart center. And as we place it in our heart center, we see that beautiful emerald green energy start to surround us, as if it's just that extra level of wrapping paper coming around the entire golden gift, surrounding it in that love and appreciation. And maybe we internally hear and see the words, I am grateful, as we get it surrounded by this energy. And we really intend that that energy is coming right from our heart center. Feel that love, that gratefulness, that gratitude in this moment. And we'll sit here for a moment here, letting that energy completely swirl around us. And that gift getting settled in our heart center, filled with gratitude and love and appreciation. As we take another deep breath in, we maybe imagine that we're breathing in beautiful healing energy. And as we exhale, it comes right to the heart center, and that energy grows, feeling more grateful, more abundant, and more loving. We'll take another beautiful deep breath in, breathing in that intention of gratitude and love. Sending it right to the heart center, surrounding our beautiful gift, our I am grateful statement. Let's take one more breath. And as we exhale, we're settling and centering that I am grateful statement right at the heart center, feeling that beautiful abundance of gratitude being placed right there. So as we go through the session today, we're going to feel a little bit lighter, a little more connected, and grateful for this time that we're taking to hear this information and be here to heal ourselves. And through healing ourselves, we also heal others. For one final time before we come back, let's internally repeat our I am grateful statement. Just seeing those words come across our mind's eye one more time from left to right. And as we exhale, we let it go. Feeling a little lighter, a little more connected. Gently bring ourselves back. We can start to wiggle the fingers and toes as we gently start to open our eyes. And hopefully the intention here is that we're more connected, feeling that gratitude, as that is part of our healing process. Being grateful is this very strong and is very important during this time. So now I'm going to hand it on to Barbara. And why don't we start with you introducing yourself right before we get into the information?
Well, thank you so much, Julianne. That was a beautiful intention setting. And it helped me to feel very relaxed to get started here. So I love that. Thank you. Well, I had an IT career for 18 years, and I kind of went out at the top, I feel, with the Swiss Stock Exchange, where I was on a project that was helping them to change into an electronic exchange. And then I followed my passion, which I'd been excited about for many decades, which was natural health. And I certified as a holistic nutrition professional. And with that, I decided I'm going to be an entrepreneur. That was it. I was set. And I helped to write a recipe book, which was Cleansing with Food, because I recognized that nutrition is very important. And also that we can't get everything from our food, but we can do the best to make sure our food is a very good foundation. And then essential oils were introduced to me, and I realized that in working with my clients, they weren't always excited to change what they were eating, but they loved the way that the essential oils supported them in so many aspects. And so from there on, I started to give away my nutrition assistance for free and help people to use the essential oils in the best way. And it's become my business to work with essential oils. And it's been such a blessing to work with the doTERRA oils.
Well, that's wonderful. I really love that background. And I think it's quite appropriate because most of us have a banking, like I have tech and banking as well as a background. And I feel like at some point often you come to a point where you're like, this is not fulfilling. And it doesn't feel, as fulfilling as you'd like it to be. So that's wonderful. So why don't we jump in and you can share your screen and give us some information here.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do is a very basic class. And, oh, there it is. And are you seeing that, Julianne? Okay, I see you're nodding. Sure. This is a really lovely way for people to be introduced to essential oils. And it's sometimes called the magic of three because everything we teach here on this very initial Made Easy class is three things. And so three really cool things about essential oils: that they are pure, effective, and affordable. And the reason that I like to talk about the purity is that people are so excited right now to be using natural health solutions. And they're looking for things that can be added to whatever they're doing. So doTERRA essential oils are pure. They are natural. They come from plants, from many parts of the plants. That could be the flowers, the stems, the leaves, the roots, the resin, needles, all sorts of different parts of the plants. And because the distillation process, or in the case of citrus oils, which it's from the rind, it's a cold pressing for them. Well, because of that process, then the oils are 50 to 70 times more potent than the plants from which they come. And so that means, for example, with the peppermint there that we are seeing, one drop of peppermint essential oil can have the benefits that you would have from 28 cups of peppermint tea. And you can see that it's really amazing to have the wellness benefits in such a compact way, and in a way that these are not going to be going bad. You can keep them on your shelf for a long time, longer than you could the plants. So now, what is the difference with using the doTERRA essential oils and other essential oils? Well, doTERRA created a standard that they call CPTG, which stands for Certified Pure Tested Grade. And with that, they work directly with the farmers who are growing the plants in the countries and on the lands that are specifically for supporting the plants to grow the best. So for example, I could grow peppermint in my backyard, but it actually grows best in Washington in the USA. And that's where our peppermint mainly comes from. It can come from some other locations as well. And it's the same with the lavender. I could grow lavender here in Alberta, but our lavender comes from either Bulgaria or for the high areas of France. And that's because when the farmers are growing it and when there's very specific distillation processes for each of the different plants, it's an art, then the highest levels of the active components will come from those plants. And so the CPTG standard that doTERRA has, it's not just about the purity, because what they want to make sure, there's testing done to the max, and there's doTERRA tests, there's third-party types of things. It's actually better than organic. And organic is something that has been put into place in our society that we think, oh, it has to have the stamp of organic on there, but people pay extra for those types of regulations and certifications. And with the testing that doTERRA does, they are making sure that it is really high standard. So we have the purity, and then the effectiveness comes next, number two. These essential oils, they're called oils, but if you put them into your hands, and I wish you were all here so I could give you essential oils like I would do in my class, but when you put them into your hands and rub them together and smell them or feel them, then you'll notice that within 30 seconds or so, the oils are absorbed into your hands. It's not like olive oil or coconut oil. And so it's because essential oils are oil soluble. They're lipid soluble. They're not actually lipids themselves. And so the essential oils can actually penetrate the membranes of every cell in your body because those membranes are made of lipids. So the essential oils are effective outside of the cell and inside of the cell. And that way they can address everything at the root cause. And then what you'll notice is that On Guard, which is one of the oils that you alluded to in your email, Julianne, On Guard is called our protective blend. It's a blend of wild orange, cinnamon, clove, eucalyptus, and rosemary. And it's one that we can take internally, same as peppermint. It's very soothing. I like to apply it to the soles of my feet. If I just want to make sure that when I go out and mix with everybody out there, I put it in the soles of my feet as a protection. Or if I feel something coming on, I'll just make sure I drink a little bit of On Guard in a tea. And there are other ways to take it internally. We also have hand cleansing and foaming hand washes that have the On Guard in there. So it's very amazing for using it that way. Question, Julianne?
Yes, you said about internal. Now I guess my question for those that may not know, should you be taking all essential oils internally?
Excellent question, Julianne. And the answer is no, not all. And I will actually cover that a little bit later. So thank you for bringing it up, though, because I did sort of address it before having covered it. So thank you for saying that. Make sure I do say it later on, okay? So then the third thing about the essential oils that I wanted to address here is that they're affordable. People think when they look at some of the prices and they think, oh, that's quite expensive, but there are 250 drops in every bottle that is 15 mils. So, I mean, here is a 15 mil bottle, 250 drops. And so, for example, like I was saying with the peppermint, 1 drop in a mug, add your hot water to make a tea. And so that is very affordable to use. And for example, lavender is being shown there. Lavender is the Swiss Army knife of essential oils. And for example, if I'm in the kitchen, I make sure I have lavender there, because if I'm baking and I happen to touch the element or something, which I have done, pull out that lavender, drop it on there immediately. My skin will hardly even show that there's been any heat there. It may never blister. It will just takes away pain immediately, especially if you have children that have touched something hot or whatever. Get the lavender onto them and they will feel so much better. You have that experience, Julianne?
Well, I want to, while you're on that, that's actually a perfect example of something which really one of the other experiences I had of which got me into essential oils. It was a number of years ago. We were out camping and I actually fell and hit the side of the fire pit. And I burnt my hand quite badly. And I pretty much used essential oils. So I got some bandages, some that were recommended by the pharmacist, and I used essential oils and it healed so quickly. Like I know somebody who followed up with me was like, "Oh, how's your, was actually following up with my husband, asked how my hand was. It's like, "Oh, she's long healed." He's like, "Really?" Like they found that was very amazing how quickly I healed, because I probably almost had like it was pretty bad burn, and it healed and cleared up very quickly. So I can definitely attest to that in that way. That's very, it's like magic.
I agree. And one of the other situations where lavender came in so handy, I was hiking up Tunnel Mountain and I hadn't done it in quite a while. And 1 foot, I don't know, it must have been just not fitting right in the boot. I had blisters between every toe. And as soon as I came back down the mountain, I applied the lavender on there. And the next day, it's like it never happened. It was just incredible. It really has a very quick benefit for you. And so now what I'm going to do is I will advance to talk about the ways to use the essential oils. And aromatic is one of the most accepted ways. Now, I'm just thinking here, it seems to me that there are 3 schools of using the essential oils, and I hope I get this right. There's the British, the German, and the French. And I think it was the British school that was the aromatic, the German was the topical, and the French, they like to eat a lot of different things. So the French are the ones that really brought in the internal usage. I'm not sure if I have that quite right, but aromatic is widely accepted for essential oils. Now, here's something very interesting about essential oils is that the third-party company that does our testing, they are aromaticplant.org, and they have found in all their tests of essential oils that up to 80% of essential oils on the market are adulterated, meaning either that they're contaminated for some reason and people don't know it, or that there's intentional changes made before these products are brought to the market. And so even if you go to the health food store or a pharmacy or something like that, and you see the different brands of essential oils and look on the labels, they may say for some of the oils that peppermint, such as something that you would go to the store and buy a peppermint plant yourself and use it in your food, it may say for external use only. And you'd be thinking, well, why would that be? Because peppermint is something we can eat. But if the company is not doing their standards as strictly as some do, like doTERRA does, then it is not for internal use. And so then I would ask myself, okay, why would I want to breathe it in? I mean, I want an oil that it's going inside my body. So if I'm going to breathe it in, or even topically, if I'm going to apply it, I want an oil that is actually very good inside and out. So that's my choice for why I use the doTERRA. And you just need to look at standards for other oils before using them. And I'm not saying there aren't others that you can. So it's just that I like to rely on doTERRA because they are so strict. So aromatic, you can use a diffuser, and I don't know if you can see it, but I have a little diffuser going there with the lights that are changing colors. And that's one way that you can diffuse your oils. And the nice thing with the diffuser is it actually cleans the air as it operates, because diffusers will take particles out of the air diffuser. Then if you're using essential oils in there as well, you're also putting yourself into an environment where you can have the positive benefits. So for example, we're seeing here wild orange as an example for using aromatically. It's very uplifting. When you imagine peeling an orange and how good that smells, it is cleansing and uplifting. And it's another one that you can add to your water, and it actually is very, very cleansing for our body to use the citrus on a regular basis. The other way, oh, I don't know if you can see it, but I have a diffusing piece of jewelry here so that I can be applying essential oils in here on a little felt pad and then smell that as my body heat warms it up. And I do have some other types of jewelry that have the lava rocks, and you can apply the essential oils on there. And sometimes people will put essential oils on a cotton ball. Like, for example, if you have a grumpy boss and you want to ask for a special favor and that boss is coming into your office, just take a cotton ball, put some wild orange on there, put it underneath your desk. And then when they come in and they talk for a little while, you'll notice their mood will change, because guess what? Our olfactory nerve into the limbic, the amygdala system, that's where our memories and emotions are. And essential oils positively affect our moods, help us to lower our anxious feelings, help us to feel better. So there's all kinds of reasons to diffuse oils all the time. And in the evening, they found people who diffuse oils at night, especially if you put a little bit of frankincense in, it boosts your memory and just helps your brain function. So topical usage, this is where you would apply to your affected area. So for example, one of the ones they're showing there is the Deep Blue Blend. This is one that's very specific to doTERRA, and it is used for soothing your joints and your muscles. And if you're getting ready for a yoga session and you would say, oh, I have this sort of a sore area, just apply a bit of Deep Blue before your session and you'll find you'll be so much more relaxed and able to stretch better. Or afterwards, if you notice something. And I actually put a little bit of Deep Blue on the soles of my feet before I go to bed, along with some other lavender based for helping me to be quiet and to relax. And I'm going to go move on to the internal, because that really is an amazing area. A lot of people don't feel that essential oils should be consumed internally. However, they do have benefits internally. And again, because the doTERRA oils are so highly tested and they have high standards, then you can take them internally. Any oil that has a name such as pink pepper, black pepper, coriander, cilantro, I mean, the peppermint, of course, any of the citrus oils, because have you ever zested an orange or a lemon to put into a recipe? So the rind of citrus, and there are just so many of thyme, oregano. There's over 30 of our oils that can be used internally. And so, sure, it can be as simple as, no, did I bring my water bottle? No, I didn't. It can be as simple as adding to your water, or I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but we do have veggie capsules that you can just open them up and drop oils in, close it up, and you can swallow this way. And I do that for things like when I want to sort of take care of heavy metals or that kind of thing. Cilantro, we know that making a cilantro pesto is hugely helpful for your body, but you can also do it with the cilantro essential oils, and it's not such a tasty one. So that's why I like to put it into a veggie cap. And the recipes, I make homemade raw chocolate, and you're all invited for a class if ever you want to know how to make it. So simple, 3 ingredients and then add the oils to flavor. You can use this in so many ways in your kitchen, and it's just great. And kids love the flavors. Make some mocktails or cocktails, and just excellent ways to add flavor. And who looks into their spice cupboard and goes, oh my goodness, I know that after a year of keeping some of these expensive spices, I'm supposed to get rid of them because they may not be tasty anymore. Hey, rest easy. Your essential oils will give you flavor, flavor, flavor. So a couple of the oils that are showing on here, and I will just go over them briefly. Lemon, again, any of the citrus oils are just amazing for cleansing, and surprisingly, very good for skin. They can be added to your facial products, your lotions and whatnot. Here's the tip though, only do it at night if you're planning to go out into the sun the next day, because these citrus essential oils can make your skin more UV sensitive for about 12 hours or so. But yet, it's kind of how do you say that? A contradiction that it's amazing for your skin, and yet be careful when you use it. But as well, taking sticky spots off. I had to do that today. I have some felt things on the bottom of my chair, and they'd kind of slipped off, and the sticky stuff got onto my floor and almost impossible to remove, except a little bit of lemon essential oil on there and a paper towel, totally gone, so easy. And let's just see, Zengest. How many people have digestive issues? A lot of people. And this is a blend that is specific to help you. You can apply it topically over the area where you're feeling your discomfort, or you can add it into water, or we do have soft gels as well. So many ways that doTERRA has prepared people to be able to use the oils very easily. And how do you get them? Should I go over that, Julianne, as well? How to get the oils?
Oh yes, for sure. I wanted to make one comment that I've never thought about because I really like using oregano oil, especially if you're not feeling good or with congestion. That oh yeah, the capsules that would be so much easier because put that in the water. That's difficult to drink some of that in there. So that's a great idea that I hadn't actually thought about how useful those capsules are. So I think that's a great idea for taking some of them that are a little bit a little more intense per se,
Oh, the
right?
hot oils,
uh,
yes.
I guess my question, because I've had this myself where I've found that oh, I have the essential oil but I don't have the actual spice,
The
right?
herb,
And
yes.
what is normally like because you said, like for the peppermint, one drop is about 20 of the peppermint leaves or whatever. What is
Tea
normally
bags.
like one drop would be equivalent to how much in a recipe on average? I know it might change depending on what it is, but what
Right.
what would kind of be that?
Well, in general, well, let's say for the herbs, because herbs are lighter and fluffier, it would be about 1 drop would be equivalent to about a tablespoon of the herb. Where it comes to spices, they're a bit more compact. So sometimes 1 drop is like a teaspoon of a spice. I mean, cinnamon is a very good one where it's very, very powerful. You do not need much of it. And sometimes with oregano, if you're going to be adding it in for a sauce or whatnot, you'd actually take a toothpick and put the toothpick into the bottle, then swirl it throughout your sauce. And it's better to be able to add another toothpick full rather than try to make another batch of your sauce to dilute down the 1 drop you put in that was too much.
So really you're advising starts little and then test it, right? Well, it's fun. It's interesting you mentioned cinnamon because I actually made a couple batches. I was pickling pumpkin. Now, pickled pumpkin is actually it's delicious. It's very much more of a dessert pickle, and I had a lot of people really love it. But what was interesting is I tried some using my doTERRA cinnamon versus some with the cinnamon, and I actually had more people liked that version more than the actual cinnamon spice. So I thought that was kind of interesting that that was a little bit more popular. And what I liked about it is, with the cinnamon spice, some of it did kind of end up at the bottom of the jar, whereas with the oil it didn't, right? So that
Yes.
that was an interesting experiment that I had tried actually last year when I was pickling.
Well, and something that a lot of people are not aware of is that cinnamon is a spice that when you go to the store and buy cinnamon, you're usually purchasing cassia, which is a much less expensive version of true cinnamon. There is very rarely true cinnamon in a grocery store. And so when I do want the cinnamon powder, I have a special place I buy it from, and it's quite expensive. That's one reason in the store they will sell the cassia. Now, we do have the cassia essential oil as well as the cinnamon essential oil, and the cost difference is, it seems to me, it's like 6 times more expensive to buy the cinnamon. So, but it's more intense flavor, like you were saying.
That's good to know because I didn't realize that. If you get the cinnamon sticks, are those cassia as well at a grocery store?
They can be, because both cassia and cinnamon are, I don't know if it's a species or a genus of cinnamon. So their Latin names are cinnamon whatever and cinnamon whatever, and they will be the bark of the tree that is taken off. And that's where you get your cinnamon stick from. It's pieces of that bark that has been thinly sliced from the tree.
I think it's interesting because it just goes back down to how we don't really know what we're purchasing. And that's an unfortunate. I actually had this conversation with somebody recently about that and how unfortunate it is, where I really do like that, I know doTERRA does have cinnamon and the cassia, and I've seen both of those, right? So it gives you that you're gonna get that actual whatever herb plant it is, it's gonna be pure and it's actually the authentic, plant, right?
Yes. And what I love too about the way that doTERRA does their business, I believe it's now about 99% of the essential oils that are being used in doTERRA are directly through what they call their co-impact sourcing program, which is where doTERRA does not own the lands, but doTERRA works with the farmers who are growing the products, the plants, and they are exclusive to doTERRA, and they have no middleman. So they're earning 5 to 10 times as much as they would have in the past with the older styles of marketing essential oils. And as well with that, when we are buying the essential oils, we know that there are people on the other side of the bottle who are benefiting by being able to raise their families in a higher quality of living, and that doTERRA has what they call their Healing Hands Foundation, and doTERRA gives back to these communities and will either build schools or medical centers, whatever's needed in that community. And sometimes they will dig wells for water and do the different things that support the communities. So we can feel really good about how these oils are being obtained. It's very sustainable.
Well, you really pointed out another thing. I know I mentioned astrology before we came on and started recording. One of the things that's come up recently is we need to really start being where it's win-win-win, where every party wins in all situations. So that's very much what doTERRA is about, is that the end purchaser wins by these fantastic high quality product, yet the first party who's producing it wins by getting paid fairly for their product. So I feel like that's a huge benefit, especially during these times, that everyone is winning and it's a very positive experience for all parties involved, right?
It is. And I find too, I was so surprised when I started actually doing doTERRA as a business that yes, I'm using the product, so I'm winning with that. And I'm helping my different team members. I have thousands of people in my team, but I'm helping some of them that they can pay for their own orders. And I'm helping some of them to educate the people in their family, in their communities. Like, for example, right now we have a lot of freedom type communities. And I would say everybody wants a few essential oils in their kit because these are compact, they are effective, they are powerful, and you can do a lot with a few of these oils. And I have a PDF if people are interested that is 101 uses just for 3 of them: lavender, lemon, peppermint. And so with that, you know, there are a lot of usages for a lot more of these oils.
Well, and they're easy to they're portable. They're very easy to take with you versus like, bringing a big thing of spice or something. That's not quite
Yes.
as, compact and useful. And it is very portable. It's very easy to take no matter, because I know I've been traveling and easily traveling across to different countries. Nobody questions, that's not a big deal to bring, versus, God forbid you bring water, but an oil, that's all good.
Oh, isn't it crazy, hey? And so how to get the oils? The main thing would be that Julianne is going to put her link either into the chat or she'll be sending it out to the people with the recording. And the amazing thing is that last year when doTERRA turned 15, they made it so that when you use somebody's link, you have no cost to get started yourself. You'll have wholesale pricing immediately. And so you have 25% off of your products. You can, of course, go and buy these retail, or you could buy them retail from Julianne, but why not for no cost to yourself? Why not buy them wholesale? And you have extra benefits if you decide that you have products you want on an ongoing basis, and you can buy different products each month and accumulate the collection that you're looking forward to having. So you can purchase on a regular basis and receive percentages off from 10% up to 30% back. And there are free products as well when people are on a loyalty, and some of your shipping is free. So those are the types of things I'm just mentioning briefly that Julianne and I can help you to understand. And you have the support of not just Julianne, but you have me to support you as well.
So that's awesome because it's all about getting them into your hands so you can use them, because it's all great in theory unless you start actually starting to bring these into your life. And I know, like with myself, that be going into the natural ways of doing things is what really brought me to essential oils. And so I know that the more that I use them, the more I love them, and the more I become like a hoarder of a bunch of essential oils. And that is the one thing I love about them, is that they do last a lot longer, because sometimes there's some that I go through very quickly because I use them in my skincare and stuff, and then there's some of them that I don't use as quickly, that I don't need to replenish as often. But I do love
Yes.
the products because I've been buying regularly, and I really do love a lot of the products. Like I love the laundry soap, I love the mouthwash. I can make some of them myself. I find it more convenient, and I like the way they've got them mixed. So that's why there's a lot of the products I really do appreciate that doTERRA has on top of the clean essential oils, right?
Right. And you brought up a very good area there, Julianne, that doTERRA is not just an essential oils company, but that is their basis for pretty well well, it is the basis for every product that they carry. And they have created a product set that is all about a wellness lifestyle. And one of the latest areas is their MetaPower, which is a metabolic health system. And it's being launched, the collagen powder is being launched into Canada as of June 1st. And there's, some special things around that. I don't want to add too many things in here, but we have some of the best supplements that I've ever taken. And that's something I order on a regular basis because as a nutrition professional, I know we're not getting everything we need from our food, especially if we're stressed and if we don't have time to be preparing very specific foods and a lot of superfoods. So the supplements are food matrix based, and they're very thoughtfully formulated, and they had top nutrition experts come in to help them with that.
So I guess like at this point, the next steps, like obviously if somebody's kind of interested in trying these out and everything, or looking up more, what would you guide them as kind of a next step to learn a little bit more, to kind of go forward, or to to get a little more comfortable with the idea of essential oils if this is something new to them?
Your link, Julianne, is going to be a great place, because on the link that you send out, they can browse, and they don't have to shop immediately, but they can browse, they can look through the product set, they can click on the products and learn more about them. And there is also a blurb on that link that you send out to people so that they can understand how does doTERRA work, so they can feel comfortable with that. But definitely, you and I are the resources. The doTERRA.com website is a good place to go. However, I do encourage people to go through your links, simply because if they want to make sure they're going to have no costs associated if they decide to buy, or when they decide to buy, then it's really the best way to go with your link.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a great idea. And what I'll
And
do,
classes, you and I can offer classes
classes, yeah.
anywhere.
Well, what I'll do, and this will be attached to the video. There will be a link to this PDF that you shared today, as well as my link, and I'll put our contact, if you're okay with that. I'll put your contact, and my contact information will always be in there as well, so people can follow up with us. Other than that, is there any final words or advice you'd like to give about essential oils?
Well, I've been using essential oils for close to, I would say, probably 18 years. I've been using doTERRA for 12 years. And it really is a company that I've become so comfortable with because of their standards. And that's the thing I recommend to people. I'm just thrilled when people say they're using essential oils and when they're using natural products, because it says to me that they are taking care of their health, that they are really taking responsibility. And yes, do look at the quality, and I can give advice on that. But of course, because it's natural, I love it. They're effective. You can take care of 80% of your family's health priorities at home with a box of essential oils. And we have the books to recommend where you can look things up yourself, and it is so easy then.
Well, it makes it very much that as we're going forward, being, I'm looking for the word, being, I was talking about this when with gardening, because before this I was gardening and starting to plant stuff, being more self-sufficient. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
Having the tools so you can take care of yourself, so you don't have to go, like me, falling and burning myself, right? And having that issue, and that you don't have to be reliant on the systems, that you can do things for yourself and take health under your own, being self-sufficient for your own health, right?
Yes.
And so I feel that this is definitely, when we're healing, this is the most important thing, that we have these type of tools that will assist us. Because I know I did write a little blurb about being in Dubai, and how there was the Dubai flu going around. And people may or may not have seen this email, my husband got sick. He was doing a whole bunch of networking. He got it, and he brought it. And my daughter also got sick from it. And I got a couple little symptoms, but barely anything. And the big difference was that I was already using the On Guard. So I was using that on a regular basis while I was there. And then I, of course, got them into using it, which I'm very sure did lessen and reduce the time that they were sick for. And it is really nice to have these tools, so you don't have to go and run to a doctor, or look for other things, or go to a pharmacy and try to find something that works for you. And the great thing is, I guess I'll ask you, since you're the professional here, are there side effects to using the essential oils?
Well, of course, everything can have its side effects. And for example, one thing I didn't mention with the topical usage, some of the oils are very hot. And so we do want to dilute them. And these are identified in different tables that we have. So it's easy to find out, oh, cinnamon, oregano. There are certain ones that if you were to put them directly on your skin, you would feel it. And the thing to do, even if you poke your eye with something that is an essential oil, it's not going to damage you, but it will feel uncomfortable. But all you have to do is just put a little bit of butter or olive oil or fractionated coconut oil is preferred, just put that wherever you're feeling the discomfort and it will relieve that. So yes, side effects. And the other side effect can be sometimes people are just really anxious to feel better quickly. They may overuse something, and it can bring on what I call, or what is known as the Herxheimer reaction, where you can start to, let's say, detox or heal on a very quick rate, and it'll be uncomfortable. So it's use them in moderation, start slowly. And we have dilution tables, we have best usage tables, and great ways to give advice on that. And Julianne, you were talking about the chakras in the beginning, and I wanted to remember I have run chakra classes with essential oils. So if ever you or your people are interested in that, we could do a chakra class which uses essential oils, it uses the colors, it uses crystals and all those different types of things together.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I want to make a note about the side effects. That I thoroughly love that the side effects are that it's hot or you may be overly detoxing. There is no side effect of death. That is a beautiful thing, because even with a lot of these over the counter medications, there's some
Mm.
pretty nasty side effects with a lot of the pharmaceuticals. So you're really not going to have that, even if you do overdo it. It's not in the same realm of the side effects that can happen with a lot of the over counter, and you're going to get the same kind of benefits depending on what your situation is, right? So
Right.
that's also to put the mind at ease, because sometimes when we very rarely, I was actually looking at, it was something basic, I think it was like Tylenol or whatever, and I actually was looking at the package while I was cleaning out, because I've been moving and cleaning out stuff, and it's actually really depressing the amount of side effects that are in these very well accepted pharmaceuticals that people will take daily, that people don't really understand um how these side effects, that they even have these type of side effects, right? Some of them are a little
Mm-hmm.
bit dystopian and a little scary. So that
Yes.
where this, oh, okay, I've actually accidentally done that to my daughter, a little bit too much of an oil, and then she's like, "Oh, mom, that's oil. It's burning." I'm like, "Oh, don't worry. We'll put a little oil," and then, get it calmed down because you did a little too much. I've been a little overzealous. I've had my own share of doing that. But you learn from that. And the nice thing is, like, it's not, they're not really that big of a deal, comparatively to if you overdose on aspirin. Aspirin's not a very good product to have too much of, right?
Well,
So,
because these are so concentrated, we do ask people to be very cautious,
mhm.
especially when they're starting. And you know what? We're not saying to people, don't ever go to see a doctor or the hospital. Truly, we work together with all of the different levels of care.
Yeah.
And there are times when if I'm hit by a bus, don't take me to an aromatherapist. I want to go to a hospital, right? So all
Yes,
of
yes,
these are used, like you're saying, to have them in your toolbox, and you can know when it's appropriate to use which one.
exactly.
And there are so many times when you can take care of things on a basis before you would need something drastic. And that's how I like to approach my health.
I agree, and that is best. That's very good, advice in that, right? And I agree. My essential oils won't put my bone back in place. Unfortunately, not. Other than that, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we finish up for today?
Well, I'm just happy to help people to learn about this. No obligation for anything. And I really do love to share my knowledge about all of this. So any questions are welcome.
Perfect. Well, please feel free, if you're watching this video, if you have any questions, you can email Barbara or myself. We'll have the contact information. And of course, like we said, there's lots and lots of information on the websites and everything like that. Of course, there's plenty of information available, and it's easy. It's easy, and we can share that with you as well. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us and being my first interview here with my Heal Now series. I totally appreciate that. I love essential oils, and so this is definitely fitting for the first one.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me, Julianne. It's been such a pleasure.
Well, thank you. I'm going to end the recording.